I'm Belleau.
And I'm Caleb Churchill, and we're Belleau plus Churchill.
And this is 47 Rockets. So our collaborative practice is based on a lot of research, and it's all project-based. So we're thinking about an entire exhibition as small pieces of a larger narrative that can either stand alone or that contribute to a bigger picture. So in the past we've done things about history, myth, legend, where the truth inside a legend lies, and then where those facts maybe spin and become their own separate thing. For this show, we're very much interested in thinking about not only history and myths, but also science, different cultural perspectives, history narratives, and what parts of those are true and what part of those are spun to create something else. So this show has got a little bit of everything, I think. Some myths that are contemporized, some things that take directly from science, and then some pieces that are intentionally trying to get you to assess what you think is a fact and what might be fiction.
We work thematically usually, right? And then we'll try to use as many mediums as possible that fit the idea rather than trying to just stick with, say, making a painting show or a photo show or a sculpture show.
Yeah. One of the benefits of collaborating is that one of us can have an idea that seems silly or weird, or that's not fully formed, or that maybe doesn't fit within what our individual art practice does. And we can kind of just say that thing out loud and then see where the other person takes it, which is usually, it ends up kind of growing and evolving and becoming more nuanced or funnier.
So our first show is when we met in graduate school. We wanted to do a lot of interdisciplinary work and found that within our departments we weren't allotted that freedom to a certain extent.
And we found that a way to circumnavigate those departmental confines was to work together across disciplines, and that made it much easier to make the work that we wanted to make that didn't fit in a nice cozy little box. One of the things that we really enjoy about the collaboration is that we're not basing an idea in a medium. We come up with the idea first, and then we figure out what's the best way to communicate that idea. So for some things it's a video that then becomes a sculpture, that then also becomes a costume, or for others, I think we found the phone at a garage sale, and it was like, this object is just amazing, and we love it, and we have to do something with it. And then as we were working on this project, we found the shepherd tone, which is an audio illusion, and so it sounds like it's constantly ascending. So we felt like that was, and so we felt like that was a good representation of like both being in Earth's atmosphere and also leaving its orbit at the same time. And so that piece kind of fell together pretty naturally, but it is always idea first, medium second.
And then you get like these serendipitous things that happen, like with the moon piece here, there's a bunch of wiring that comes out, but then we were doing blind contour drawings of the moon, and then it's not intentional that the mess of wires would be by the contour drawing, but when you get it in the gallery, you're like, there's a connection that happens just by sheer luck, and it's really enjoyable every single time that happens. I think we are constantly checking in with artists that are also dual. So like Fish Weiss, Laura Casadia. Can you think of others? I do love the humor of Fish Weiss, and when we did the show, we tried to instill some more humor, and we looked back at some of their pieces, like the clay pieces they made every single day. With the little clay thing, it's like Mick Jagger and David Bowie, I can't remember, but like coming home completely satisfied, saying after singing can't get no satisfaction, and like that kind of stuff is like always bouncing around in our heads. Laura Casadia, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. I'd say Fish Weiss are really important for us to look at because the humor is so integral to what we're doing, especially when we're thinking about making it accessible to other groups of people. Like humor is a really good way to invite a group in.
Absolutely.
So they're always super important, and the variety of media that they worked with, and just the duration of their career together. And then we also look a lot at Alora and Casadia. And I think we look at them both because they do a lot of different media. They also work a lot in video. There's some performative sculptures, performances. And for them, I think we're really looking to them because of there's a sincerity to their work. They're interested in politics, but they're not interested in like a political argument. They're interested in a political conversation and bringing people in to talk about an issue that's important. And so I think that we look at both of those artist duos as models because we're interested in both sides of that coin of being both funny but also very serious about having important discussions.
Absolutely.
So, as Caleb mentioned, we have mission patches for this show. So for $5, you can take home an original piece of artwork. And then I think that's mostly where we're interested in selling art. It's not so much about selling to collectors. And part of that is because it's a project. Like all of this, they're all siblings or friends, and sometimes separating one can feel a little bit agonizing. But
it also kind of like if you think about like if you want to show at a certain gallery, it's a painting gallery, and then you're like, well, now we gotta make paintings for this idea, and then that idea is only on paintings, and that's not really how we function, you know. It's like we want to be able to make a photograph, make a sculpture, make a kinetic sculpture, and part of what we do is taking on a lot of things that we normally don't do in our other practices. So like building Arduinos and messing with Raspberry Pis, like that is not in our wheelhouse, but we took it on and figured it out. And there might be some sculptures, but video art is something that's new that we haven't done either. So we just don't want to be confined to anything by economics, I guess, or being able to be sellable.
when it comes to showing the work, I think we're always looking for some place that is going to attract a wider group of people because we're very much interested in the work being open to interpretation to people who maybe it's their first contemporary art experience, or maybe they've been living as an artist for what feels like their whole life. So we want the work to kind of speak to a bunch of different levels of artistic backgrounds. And so we tend to find that the places that we enjoy showing it are the places that are looking to interact with a diverse population. We've shown in like artist-run spaces, commercial spaces. We even did an art fair in a hotel.
During Art Miami Basel, it was like
it was a
side
weird,
art fair,
yeah. There was like a nice kind of off the beaten path weirdo art fair that we participated in, and that was fun because it was just people from like the big commercial art world coming in and just like being like, this is so different. I don't know what to do with it. And then you get people off the street who are just like, I get it. This is awesome. And that was a lot of fun. But yeah, I think generally we're looking for places that are open to everything from school kids to the general community.